On this episode of Geek Dad Life, we're going to open up the He-Man and Skeletor Motorcycle 2-packs, as well as the Chaos Snake Attack Playset from the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe toy line by Mattel. Hey everybody, and welcome to Geek Dad Life. It's your host, Jay Glatfelter here. So I have really dug the new He-Man and the Masters of the Universe show on Netflix. While it is geared more towards the youth of today, I think a lot of us grown-ups have really dug it as well, whether you're watching it with your kids or just watching it on your own. It's actually a pretty darn good show, and as such, I actually have interest in these toys now, not only, for myself as a collector, but to, share them with my two boys who, we watch this show together with. So, I've already gotten 3 of the normal releases of these figures. I've unboxed them here on this channel, as well as one of the bigger size figures. You can find a link to that video right here. So what we're unboxing today are these 2-pack motorcycle sets that have a Skeletor and He-Man with their own motorcycles, which we did not see in the show, nor did we see these different colorways. And but they still piqued my interest. One, because you have one here, it's like the Road Ripper, even though it's called the Ground Ripper, but it has that look to it, even though it's kind of a little plain and lacking paint apps. And then for the Skeletor, it's actually called Panther. So is he not going to get his own Panther? I don't know. I hope he does actually get his own kind of, Cringer Battle Cat equivalent. But we actually haven't even gotten a Cringer or Battle Cat in this toy line yet, at least announced. So these are their vehicles they can ride on. It's a little weird. It was not in the show, but it's kind of fun. But I really like this Skeletor. It kind of has a disco Skeletor look to him. So I absolutely want to get the Panther and Skeletor set. And, I felt bad not getting the He-Man one, but I wasn't as jazzed about this one. And then for the playset, everyone that watches the channel knows I love playsets. So even though this one seems a little bit smaller, not really probably what we would want. We probably want a Gray Skull or a Snake Mountain, and they both looked really cool on this new show. It's still cool to get a playset. So I wanted to open these up, see what they're like, share it with you all, get your thoughts as well. Because, I have enjoyed these so far, but I really like to hear what you all have to say as well. Maybe if you pick these up and what your thoughts were. So, all right, let's start to crack these things open. I'm going to start with the Skeletor because that's the one I really wanted out of these sets. And he just looks so freaking cool. So let's free this toy here. And again, I think I've said it before, I really liked the way they did Skeletor in the show, the voice acting, and if that was pretty easy. It's just cut the little rubber bands here and then it comes right out. So that's nice. Sometimes with the toys, they make it so darn difficult to get out of the packaging. And especially if you're a parent doing this for your kids, it can get exhausting. But that was really easy to take out the packaging. You don't have to tear it all up too, which is pretty cool. Even though the packaging is kind of plain Jane, doesn't do too much. I will say, I'm kind of bummed there's not a ripcord action on these motorcycles. It looks like they probably wanted to have it be a ripcord action at some point. Even when I saw some of the pictures of it, I thought this little hole was for the ripcord, but no, it's actually for his Havoc staff. So you can put the Havoc staff in there. I don't know how cool that is, but it does stand up on its own, which is pretty cool. Let me get this playset up. So again, I think the Skeletor one looks pretty darn cool. I love the kind of the Panther purple. I love the green wheels. And again, honestly, the main reason why I wanted this set was this kind of disco Skeletor looking version of Skeletor. But I will say the paint apps are very minimal. So I did bring the normal release of Skeletor. And the normal release has way more paint applications. You have, the kind of that green slime or whatever they're calling it, the Havoc or whatever, is coming out from the bottom of his skull. You have the paint applications on the eyes on his chest armor. So the only paint applications on this kind of motorcycle 2-pack version of Skeletor is, I guess, just his eyes. So really lacking on the paint applications, which is a bit of a bummer. Because again, I really like this colorway. I think it looks really cool. But I feel like they could have, I don't know, gone a little bit further, because this figure is under $10. No, it's like $9.50. And this 2-pack, so with the motorcycle and with the Skeletor, is $20. Like, it's $19.99. So to get less paint apps on a figure that costs twice as much. Now, again, I get that you're getting this motorcycle, you know, this Panther version of the motorcycle, but it's not, I mean, it's not anything iconic, and not even in the show. And maybe it'll be in season 2, but honestly, it just feels like it's a toy, which is fine. But I think at the price point that they're putting these at, I would have liked a little more paint applications on the Skeletor. Still looks cool though. I mean, it rolls fine. But I'm kind of bummed at how the Skeletor looks, especially, kind of going after an iconic look of the character. But it's kind of boring in person though. But I still think it'll probably be the best of the two characters here, but I still think the normal release of Skeletor takes the cake if you had to pick one for your shelf. All right, so there's Skeletor. Let's open up He-Man. Now, again, I kind of, in the initial images of this, I criticized the lack of paint applications on the sword. It's just a yellow piece of plastic. So if the one I really was excited about was a little bit disappointing, I don't know how this one isn't going to be disappointing, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Let's make sure we take out the power sword. Oh, there we go. This one is a little bit harder to get into all of the rubber bands. Looking at just the He-Man, a few more paint applications than the Skeletor, but still fewer than are on his regular figure release. But then luckily they kept the amount of paint applications on his face the same. We also have his crest is there. No paint on the gauntlets, no paint on his waistband or his, new loincloth. But still better than the Skeletor, which has nothing. Nada. Zilch. It's bumming me out. Come on. If I'm dropping $20, I want at least a few more. Just a couple more. You did it here on the He-Man. Just give me a little bit more on the Skeletor. Just a little bit. It has kind of the brown looking armor, similar to the battle armor He-Man that we opened up last week. I like that color scheme better because it kind of paired the yellow with the brown. Being a Padres fan, I dug that personally. But still, it looks okay. But it's not cooler than the normal looking version of He-Man. More paint applications. It looks like he looks on the show. Never wore a costume like this on the show. And we have a actual kind of two-tone decoed power sword, whereas this one comes with a yellow, casted-in yellow power sword. Which, I'm gonna be honest, it's kind of lame. It's the same mold as the one that your normal release comes with. But again, it's just in this very bright yellow plastic with no paint to make it look metal or anything like that. So that does make me feel a little bit. But it is what it is. So this one, they gave a few more paint applications to He-Man, but his accessories, if you count the bike and the sword as accessories, very sparse. So it's kind of casted in this bright green plastic. You have a little one paint app here on the side, one for the eye, and that's it. So, maybe they just decided, okay, we're going to give paint applications to Skeletor's Panther motorcycle, which it does have more, but let's not give any to the figure, really. And then we'll give some paint applications to the He-Man, but none to the bike. So, kind of a bummer. Again, this is something that even more so is not for collectors. I think there's something for collectors out of the regular retail release of the figures, as well as the bigger ones that are kind of cool as well. I don't see any reason for a collector to have these. And honestly, I don't know if kids would dig this. I'll have to ask my boys what they would think. But again, they prefer to have one that looks like what they see on the show. So I still think these went out for the kids as well. This is something, I guess, you know, like if an aunt or uncle's getting something for a birthday party and they don't want to just spend $10, they want to spend $20 and they'll get these. But so far, these, I think, for most people, are going to be a pass. As it pains me to say, these do not get the Geek Dad Life buy rating. You're looking at $40 for these two, and I don't think it's worth it. Even because the lack of the paint apps on the Skeletor make this kind of disco Skeletor look moot. It doesn't really make it fun. The bike's nice, but that's not enough, I think. And then the Road Ripper, or I guess Ground Ripper, looks way too plasticky. And the sword, it just, to me, you're not getting $40 worth of value out of these two figures. Let's see if the playset can bring us home with some positivity, because the power attack motorcycle, feels really cheap. All right, let's get it in shot here. Again, love the painted artwork. Such a classic style. Such, you know, it's been done so many times. I think it looks great. So I guess if he beats the snake, he can knock Skeletor off the chair. Or Skeletor can win and eat He-Man with the snake. Looks kind of cool. Looks like we're gonna have some translucent plastics. So still, I'm a big fan of playsets. So let's see how this one stacks up. Because maybe vehicles were never great in the original He-Man line. But as far as playsets go, pound for pound, some of the best playsets ever made for at least boy-focused toy line. So it just comes right out. And that's it. And also we have a tail piece here that attaches, as well as Skeletor's throne, which does look like it has, okay, it looks like it has a release mechanism, but still it looks pretty cool. No paint detail, which I think would have been neat, but maybe a customizer can do a cool thing. But I love the skulls on the armrest. That's awesome. Love that. All the horns and wings. That looks really cool. And if they ever do a Snake Mountain playset, you know, maybe they'll reuse this, or maybe you can attach this as part of a bigger Snake Mountain playset or something like that. But that's pretty neat. And then we have kind of, I guess, the Champions ring here where He-Man will go. There's a foot peg hole. Then we've got the main part of the playset. Some light kind of a dusting of purple paint here on the sides. Some paint here for the slime coming down. But still pretty, I mean, it looks like it's pretty easy to put together. Oh, there are stickers. Oh boy, that's stressful. All right, so I'm guessing that goes down here in this moat, which is pretty cool. Okay, yep, that's where it goes. And you snap the tail in. It's a one-time assembly, so once it's in for good. All right, well, it says to do the sticker first, so let's follow their advice here. So It looks like the smaller end goes up front. I love stickers because it's such a classic part of toys, especially play sets and vehicles. But I also hate them because it's so stressful. You want to get it done right. I think we're good. All right. I'm sure it's not 100% perfect, but it's good enough. So there you go. Sweet. All right, let's take this. It's taped on here. The Chaos Snake Attack Playset has been assembled. Send in your champion. I know that's just Revelations, but I dig that show too. I dig them both. I know that might be controversial to say, but I like them both. All right. So the Skeletor doesn't quite sit on the throne so well, but it's kind of there. The snake moves up and down pretty easily. And then let's put He-Man there. And there you have it. There is the Chaos Snake Attack Playset. It's pretty cool. So in terms of play value, I don't know how high of a score I can give it because it doesn't quite, it takes a lot of, I guess. There you go. You can kind of swing He-Man around and stuff, which is kind of cool. But in terms of display ability, I love it. I think it's really cool. All right, now let's see how the feature of knocking Skeletor off his pedestal works. All right, he's lunged. There we go. All right. So the mouth needs to be closed. It needs to be lunged so that the tail, when it flips up, hits the little trigger under there, releasing Skeletor from the throne. So in terms of look, scale, display ability, I think I really dig this playset. It looks awesome. The reason I love playsets is its ability to kind of set up a scene, and this one does a fantastic job of that. Again, you're kind of seeing Skeletor and He-Man in battle. There's this cool translucent snake. You have, the slime pit below. I just think it looks really, really cool. So if you kind of want a little scene with some of the new He-Man and the Masters of the Universe figures, I think it's really neat. In terms of play features, I think they're okay. They're not great. They're a little bit frustrating, but I think once you kind of get in the rhythm of figuring them out, I think they're okay. But again, I don't know how many kids are going to really take advantage of that. But still, I think they're all right play features. A translucent snake that has a trigger that'll bite you if you trip it is a fun play feature. So I think play value wise, I think it's okay. Display ability, I think is its best trait. So for this playset, I'm really pumped that I picked it up. I think it's really neat. This is how I'm going to display these two figures. I don't know how many other ones I'll get, but I can kind of display them around it. Again, that's why I love playsets. So I'm really pumped I bought this one. The Chaos Snake Attack playset definitely gets the Geek Dad Life buy rating. I think it looks really cool, especially if you're an adult collector and you like displaying and kind of setting up scenes in your display. This thing is awesome. If you're buying for your kids, I still think it's a pretty cool playset. They're just so hard to find nowadays. It's a translucent snake that bites. I think that's pretty cool. Takes a few reps to kind of get a sense of how all the play features work, which generally I think you'd want it to be a little bit more intuitive for a kid's toy, but still overall I think it's pretty good, especially at its price point coming out $29.99, which I think is pretty good. But these bikes, however, are not worth it. These are overpriced, $40 for two bikes, and low paint apps, low play value beyond just the normal figures that you get with more paint applications and look more like the characters on the show. I think you can pass on these as collectors, pass on them as people buying things for your kids. I think these are a waste of money at $40 for the pair. And honestly, I'm probably going to return them. That's how low I think of these. And especially when I thought at least I would love the Skeletor, the lack of paint applications really ruins him for me. So kind of a tale of two cities here. Really love this play set, and the motorcycles is a rare Geek Dad Life not buy rating. If you haven't seen my other video where I opened up the regular releases for the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe toys, plus one of the larger size ones, the Battle Armor He-Man, click that video right there. And if you want a playlist of my Motu Origins reviews, you can find that right here. And until next time, hasta luego and goodbye.